Here's number 4 on the homework. The following table shows the number of points the Arlington girls team scored in their last basketball game, where T is the time passed in minutes and F of T is the total number of points scored after T minutes. A lot of gibberish here. I have a table. I need an X and I need a Y. T is the number in parentheses here, so T becomes my X. F of T just stands for Y. Keep it simple. What was the average rate, that means slope, they were shooting in the first half of the game? Be sure to include proper units. Now, here we go. The first half of the game. If the whole game was 32 minutes, I need to divide that in half, and I get 16. So if I'm talking about the first half of the game, that means I'm talking from 0 minutes to 16 minutes. So if I'm looking at coordinates here, I have the coordinate 0, 0, and I have the coordinate 16, 48. So to find my slope, which is the average rate, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's just 48 over 16. On my calculator, I can do this. 48 divided by 16 equals, 3. I could have done that. 3. Now I have to do units. On top are my y's. F of T is my y, and F of T is the total number of points. So my units are points per, well, underneath, that's my X. X was T, which stands for time, so that's minutes. So the first half of the game, they were averaging, the average rate they were scoring was 3 points per minute. Now, part B, what was their average rate, slope, over the whole game? If I'm talking about the whole game, I need to go from the beginning until the end. That's 32, 64. I do my slope formula. 64 minus 0 over 32 minus 0. So that is equal to 64 over 32, which is 2. Units. On top, it's y. Y is F of T. F of T stands for points. Per, on the bottom are my x's. X is actually a T in this problem, and T is measured in minutes. So over the whole game, they were averaging 2 points per minute. So here's the big one. If we look at part C, given your answers above, which half of the game do you feel they had a better rate of scoring? And explain. Over the whole game, their average was 2 points per minute. But in the first half, their average was 3 points per minute. So what does that tell you about the second half? Second half, they must have had a very low scoring per minute because it actually pulled the average. At halftime, they were averaging 3 points per minute. By the end of the game, only 2 points per minute. So something must have pulled that down in the second half. Therefore, the first half must have a better rate of scoring because the average, I'll add the word the, because the average went down by the end of the game. What do you think? Does that make sense? Hopefully that does. Now, if we go back to the beginning of your homework, the answer to 1C, if you did this correctly, you should have ended up with a final answer of 0. 2B, right here, your final answer should have been -3 over 2. 3B, your final answer should have been 1/2. How'd you do on the homework?